Hello everyone, my name's Cole. I've been a powerlifting coach for the past 3 years. Here are my do's and don'ts on how to get started in powerlifting. What is powerlifting? Powerlifting is a sport based off 3 movements. You've got squat, bench press, or deads. I'm pretty sure everyone has heard of squat, bench press, and deadlifts, but what are they defined as in competition? So each one of these has their own set of calls or commands, depending on the federation, will depend on what they're called. Squat, you need to stand with locked knees to then get the squat command. Once this happens and you get the squat command, you will sink the bar to depth. So depth, which is determined as the hip crease goes below the top surface of the knee. So hip below knee. Okay? There is no command at the bottom. You will just stand straight back up. But once you get back to the top, you need to relock your knees. So have locked knees once again. And then you will get the rack command. This means you can place the bar back into the rack. If you do not follow any of these commands or hit depth, you get red lights. And what red lights means, if you get 2 out of 3 red lights, it is a no lift. What are the commands for bench press? You're going to lie there with your arms locked, so locked elbows this time. And then you're going to get the start command, which is start. From this point, you are wanting to bring that bar down to your chest. Depending on the federation, mainly IPF and IPF affiliates, you will have to hit elbow depth, which is a new rule, which I'll go into a little bit later. But for the start, you're going to want to pause on your chest. So none of this touch and go. You're not allowed to bounce it. You've got to bring it down, touch it on your chest, and then wait for the press command. Okay? Once you get that press command, you've got to get it in a smooth upwards motion back to the top so the bar cannot dip. But once you get back to the top, lock your elbows again, and then you get the rack command. Now, deadlifts are going to be the easiest one. You can pull conventional or you can pull sumo. But to start, you walk up to the bar, you pull it off the floor. So, pull off floor.
Last time, come on! Let's go! Yes, go!
Once you get to the top, you need to have your knees and hips locked. Okay? Once you get those two done, the head ref will then give you the down command, which means putting it down to the floor while keeping a hold and control of the bar. So you're just not allowed to drop it. So I'm going to use the red marker. The amount of people I see in commercial gyms getting to the top of a deadlift and then letting it go and shouting, that's a no lift. Once again, straight red lights, okay?
Yes! Easy!
But if you follow these commands and these things, you're going to get white lights.
Yeah!
To get started in powerlifting, you need yourself, you need a barbell, you need a squat rack, you need a bench, and then finally, and last but not least, weight plates. Now, these do not need to be any specifics. You do not need the Alicos, you do not need Goliath, Rogue, all these big name brands. Go to your local commercial gym, lift weight. That is all. So making sure you have access to a bench press, a squat rack, a barbell, and weight plates. Obviously, you'll have access to yourself, I'm assuming. Training. We're going to do do's and don'ts. We're going to start with don'ts first. We'll go on to do's. Don't go in and guess how to train. Guesswork is just going to take you so much longer. You're going to hurt yourself, and it's just not going to be fun. Okay? Don't go in and half-ass it, or ass it if you're American. Okay? If you half-ass your training, you're going to get half-ass results. Okay? So put the work in, and you'll get there. Don't max out every week. Okay? Maxing out weekly is just going to fatigue your CNS system, which means you're going to have a lot more systemic fatigue, and that just means you're not going to perform as well, okay? And maxing out every week seems fun until you stop making progress, and the person who's doing the 3s, the 5s, the 8s, just are overtaking you slowly, because the volume is what's going to build the muscle, which is going to build the strength, okay? And please don't use shitty form. If your form looks like shit, please consult a coach, consult someone, record your sets. Leading on from that, do not be a dickhead influencer. So, what I mean by that is don't set your tripod in the middle of the fucking gym. In middle of gym. Okay? Hate that shit. Set it up at a place where you can record, and you want to record at about a 45-degree angle or straight on so you can see your technique. Okay? And the last one I'm going to give you is don't take the piss with your rest. So, yes, when you're doing heavy sets, you can rest 3 to 5 minutes. But if you're resting 3 to 5 minutes on a leg extension, you're just a dick. Okay? So, don't take the piss with rest. Yes, I have shit handwriting. Fuck off. Now, we'll go on to the do's and we'll counteract all these points. So, one thing I would always suggest is getting a coach. But the only problem with coaches, unfortunately, is they can be quite expensive. So how do we get around this? One, look at the pricing options. Some coaches just offer programs which cost a significant amount less, or you could scour the internet and find some really cheap ones that probably aren't suited to you. Okay? So I would always recommend getting a coach. Look at your price points, look at what you can afford. Okay? Or join a lifting community. I do have a lifting community down in the description. It is on my Discord channel. In there, you can do form checks, you can speak to other lifters, and you can find out about competitions that might be going on in your area. Okay? So, this is how to train. Half-arsing your training is just not going to get you anywhere. But also, this doesn't mean maxing out weekly. This is finding the right volume. And this all links back into getting a coach, because they'll tell you what weight you should be working at, how to work it, and everything like that. Shitty form, once again, links in to a coach. Influencer. Don't be an influencer in the gym. That's just not being a dickhead. That's simple stuff. And then don't take the piss with rest. Once again, links back into your coach. Okay? Being humble and being non-egotistical is going to be a way to go. So no ego. Leave your ego at the door when you come into training, because these weights will humble you very quickly and you can hurt yourself. Okay? So take it slow. It doesn't need to be a race to the finish line. Okay? Powerlifting takes time. Your body needs to take time to adapt to what you are trying to do. Okay? So just take it slow and leave your ego at the door. That is all you need. Okay? So get yourself a program, leave your ego at the door, and just take it time. Okay? That is my main advice. I'm going to talk to you about the federations and their different rulings on elbow depth, as I said before, and deadlift lockouts and everything like that. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about the bench press and the elbow depth. So with squatting, the hip crease has to go below the top of the knee. With elbow depth, it's similar, just with the elbow. So the crease of your elbow, so elbow crease, has to go below the top of your shoulder. Okay, and that is how you get elbow depth. This is a very, very brand new rule in the IPF and in the IPF only. Okay, this is a brand new rule, so if you do see it in one of your competitions and the judge gets it wrong, don't worry, it's very new. We're all still adapting to it. Okay, deadlifts. There are a few for deadlifts. Hitching. What is hitching? Have you ever watched strongmen when they deadlift and they get the bar just past the knees and then they rest it and then they pull it and then they rest it and then they pull it? That's not allowed, okay? So the bar has to move upwards in a smooth motion, okay? That is it. But also, you're not allowed to use wrist straps, okay? So these could be the figure 8 ones that look like this, or the figure 6s that are like that, where you put your hand through and it connects you to the bar, okay? We're not allowed to use them, just purely chalk and grip strength. All right, and like I said, you're not allowed to let go of the bar, so it's got to come down nice and controlled. This doesn't mean you need to tempo it down. All this means is just be in control of the bar, keeping a firm grasp of the bar. So the reason I'm telling you all these rules about powerlifting is because I want you to start implementing them into training as soon as you can. The quicker you get elbow depth if you compete IPF. If you don't compete IPF or affiliate, don't worry about elbow depth. But if you hitch or don't have a firm grasp as you drop the deadlift, that's instant red lights, okay? The reason I want you to do this is because it gets your body used to it. Because come competition day, if you've not practiced any of the technique, what I said at the earlier of the video as well, you're going to be in for a huge surprise. My first competition didn't go too well. If I have some videos, I'll play them on screen now. I missed all 3 of my bench attempts. I didn't practice comp pausing. So that just means bringing the bar down to my chest, waiting, and then getting the press command. I didn't practice it, and I went with a weight that was too heavy for me, and I failed. I got disqualified. But the next year, I came back, I'd learned my lesson, and I did a shit ton better. Okay, so making sure you've taken everything in on board from this video, and then from there, you'll get so much better at powerlifting.